Welcome to the deep dive. We're zeroing in on the 2025 Honda Amaze Automatic today, and we've got a recent review here to sort of guide us through it.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Seeing Honda really sticking with sticking with the compact sedan segment generally.
Especially when that segment's facing, well, challenges.
Exactly. But the Amaze is their big seller. And the latest numbers for April 2025 were 2019 units, which is actually up 12% year on year. So it's definitely still pulling its weight.
Right. So, okay, our mission for you today, using this Financial Express review from May 17th, is to really get under the skin of what it's like to, live with the automatic version.
Yeah, moving past just the specs.
Exactly. The practical stuff, the pros, the cons. Okay, so let's dive into the driving experience first.
Sounds good. The review really focuses on the CVT automatic, which makes sense, right? It's positioned against competitors who often go for AMTs, the automated manual transmissions.
Which can be a bit jerky sometimes.
They can, yeah. So Honda choosing a CVT, it kind of signals they're prioritizing smooth, easy driving for, like, city commutes, convenience over raw power.
Makes sense for the target buyer, I suppose. The review definitely paints the CVT as smoother, less prone to those jerks you get with AMTs, especially in stop-start traffic.
hmm And what's quite interesting is how it behaves at different revs. The review mentions that below 2,000 RPM, everything feels pretty harmonious.
Engine and CVT working well together, low noise.
Yeah, pretty refined, apparently.
Nah, there's always a but, isn't there? What happens if you, put your foot down a bit more?
Well, that's when the classic CVT rubber band effect apparently makes an appearance.
Yeah.
Where the revs rise, but the speed takes a moment to catch up.
Right. And the review mentioned a whining noise, too.
Yeah, it becomes more noticeable. So it sounds like, it's great for gentle driving, but maybe less satisfying if you're more spirited behind the wheel.
That effect could get a bit annoying in daily city driving, couldn't it? All that accelerating and decelerating.
That's a really good point. Okay. It is inherent to many CVTs under hard acceleration. But Honda did include paddle shifters.
Oh, right. Do they actually help?
The review suggests they do offer a quicker response.
Yeah.
Useful for, say, an overtake. Gives you a bit more direct control when you need it.
Okay, so you're not totally stuck with the CVT's default behavior. And there's an S mode mentioned too, sport mode.
Yeah, S mode. Apparently sharpens up the initial acceleration, gives it a bit more pep off the line.
Useful for quick merges, maybe?
Could be. But the review does sort of hint there might be a trade-off, maybe some power lag later on. Seems like it's more for those short bursts, not really for sustained sporty driving.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears. No pun intended. To fuel efficiency, always a big one.
Definitely. So Honda's official claim for the CVT is 19.46 kilometers per liter. Interestingly, that's actually slightly better than the manual's claim.
Huh, okay. But what about the real world? What did the review actually find?
All right, this is the important bit. In their testing, mostly city driving, under 85 kilometers a day, AC on, lots of stop-start traffic, they achieved 15 kilometers per liter.
15. Okay, so less than the official figure, but how did they describe that?
They called it quite impressive given those conditions. Which, yeah, in heavy city traffic with the AC blasting, 15 isn't bad at all.
That does sound pretty decent, actually. What's the secret then? How did they manage that?
Seems to come down to driving style. The review highlights being gentle on the accelerator, basically, and keeping the revs below that 2,000 RPM mark where the engine and CVT are happiest.
So light foot equals better mileage. Makes sense. Drive it smoothly, and it rewards you.
Pretty much, yeah. It really shows how much impact how you drive can have, especially with this kind of transmission.
Okay, moving on to tech. The 2025 Amaze gets ADAS Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. Honda Sensing, they call it.
Yep, and what's quite notable here is Honda's approach. They're using a camera-based system.
Not radar.
No, primarily camera, which likely helps keep the cost down, making ADS more accessible in this segment. It uses visual data road markings, other vehicles.
What features are actually included in this Honda Sensing package?
It's a pretty decent suite, actually. 6 main features: adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation braking, that's automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, road departure mitigation, auto high beam,
And
lead car departure notification. A little nudge when the car ahead moves off in traffic.
that's quite comprehensive for this class of car. How well does it work, according to the review, especially on, let's be honest, unpredictable Indian roads?
That's the key question, isn't it? And the review actually praises it, says the system anticipates things well without being overly intrusive.
Oh, that's good. You don't want a system that's constantly nagging you or braking unexpectedly.
Exactly. They described it as not being a safety nanny, which I thought was a good way to put it. It seems to kick in more as a last resort
Yeah.
rather than interfering all the time.
Okay, that sounds like a well-calibrated system then. Good balance. What about the steering feel? Sometimes these city cars can feel a bit vague.
An interesting point in the review here. They describe the steering as having a noticeable heft.
Heft, so not featherlight.
Apparently not. Requires a little effort, was the phrase used. But, crucially, they also said the feedback is direct, not vague.
So you feel connected to the road, even if it takes a bit more muscle?
Seems to be the idea. Gives you confidence, maybe more so than some competitors with overly light steering. And this apparently translates to good stability at speed.
And confident cornering, too, even if it's described as sort of neutral handling rather than sporty.
Exactly. It sounds like a setup focused on stability and predictability, which probably suits the car's character.
Okay, let's move inside. Cabin comfort, what's the verdict there?
Mixed bag, perhaps? The front seats get praise for good side support. They mentioned the bolsters doing a good job.
That's good for longer drives.
Yeah, but the lumbar support might be an issue for some. The review suggests it could feel like it's poking your lower back rather than supporting it.
Ooh, yeah, that's very subjective, isn't it? Definitely something you need to try for yourself on a test drive. One person's support is another's poke.
Huh, exactly. Definitely a try before you buy point.
And what about the back seats? Space is usually a strong point for the Amaze, right?
Legroom, yes. The review confirms ample legroom, which is great, but potentially less impressive on thigh support and maybe headroom for taller passengers.
Okay, so good legroom, but maybe compromises elsewhere in the back. Any other details back there?
There's a rear armrest, which is nice, comes with 2 cup holders, but the review noted it sits quite low.
Might be awkward to use then.
Possibly. And another small point, the adjustable rear headrests apparently feel a bit cheap.
Really? For a car in this price range,
Yeah.
which is what, roughly 8 to 11 lakh ex-showroom?
Yeah, that's the range. It was a comment on the perceived quality of that specific component. Just highlights where maybe some cost saving is noticeable.
Right, those little details can matter. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. If someone's considering the Honda Amaze Automatic, what are the main takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, I think you're looking at a car with a really smooth CVT that's genuinely well-suited for city driving, provided you're not constantly driving aggressively, where you might notice that rubber band effect.
Right, and the fuel efficiency seems genuinely good in the real world if you drive gently.
Definitely. Plus, you get that quite comprehensive and, importantly, non-intrusive Honda Sensing ADS suite.
Okay, and the steering.
A bit heavier than some might expect, but direct and confidence-inspiring.
And inside.
Supportive front seats, mostly, but maybe check that lumbar support. Decent rear legroom, but perhaps some compromises on thigh support, headroom, and maybe a couple of material quality points in the back.
Okay, a pretty clear picture then. So here's some food for thought for you listening. Thinking about all that the smooth city drive, the impressive real-world mileage potential, the helpful 8As, but also the CVT's nature under acceleration and those cabin comfort nuances. How does the 2025 Honda Amaze Automatic fit your needs as an urban commuter today?
Yeah, what aspects stand out most to you, good or bad, based on how you drive every day?
Something to mull over. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.